All right. Well, it looks like it's after 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. As people show up, I'll just admit them in. So, Matt, thanks for coming.
Hey, no problem, Sally. Good to see you.
Matt's taking care of, we haven't had a secretary or meeting minutes for a long time, and now Matt's going to be doing that for us
Woohoo.
via recordings, right? Is that
Yep.
right? So, do
Yep.
you want to tell us a little bit about that quickly before we get started?
Yeah, sure. That's just I have my recording going on my computer here, but I also have these two note takers just as backups, just so that I definitely capture it. And then I'll take the audio recording and turn it into a meeting summary that's all timestamped so people can jump around to the different topics that were discussed. So hopefully it'll make the information more accessible.
That's terrific because it's hard enough to go to these meetings and get people to come to meetings and all of that, but then to get somebody who says, "Sure, I'll be the secretary and I'll take meeting minutes," it's like that's a no-go. Nobody wants that job.
Oh, I'll take
So,
it. That's awesome.
so I'm really glad we're going to be doing this. That's awesome.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Samantha Finch is joining, but I hasn't linked up yet. So when you see her come on, we can say howdy to her. Um, okay, well, and actually, I was hoping Eric would be here because Eric was the one that kind of talked to me about this and said he thought it was kind of important that we start thinking about CIP stuff. Eric is our representative on the peanut board, and he said the past year there were all these proposals and things, and there wasn't anything from District 7. And so he wants us to really start thinking about smaller projects that could maybe they do have to. And Sarah, you can jump in anytime because you know more about this than I do. But they need to be $50,000, so they're not teeny tiny projects, and they have to be something that's kind of more permanent, not just we're going to change or add some plants or stuff like that. It's got to be more of a structural or something that's a more permanent thing. Um, and it's a long process. I looked it up one more time and I knew from Sarah's last project, which still hasn't totally happened. Um, we're going on what, 3 years? I think, Sarah, 3 years since it was approved. So that's,
Yeah, no results, no communications. Too bad.
yeah, it's really unfortunate. But it says on the stuff on the city site that the projects take at least a year to go through the CIP process from pre-submittal to allocation. Longer if you don't get allocated the first year, then you have to put it through on the second year and so forth. So you saw from the email that I sent that I listed all the parks in Sugar that are in District 7. And I'll have to admit, there are one or two on the list that I've never been to. I've never been to Hillcrest Park. I'm not quite sure where that is.
It's that Hillcrest Park. Is it that? No, I was thinking something else. Never mind. I was thinking of another park.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with
No,
it.
it's not off the top of my head.
Westminster Park is a little tiny pocket park right close to the college campus. And
Right.
of course, we know Tanner Park and Imperial Park, Sugar House Park. Stratford Park is, I believe, over at the east end of Stratford there's a church, two churches there, a Lutheran church and a Mormon church, I think, and there's a park along there. And
Uh,
they have a little bit of a soccer field and so, but it's over there just before 23rd. Is it, no, what is it? 21st East goes under the freeway by the country
21st.
club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back in that little corner.
hmm.
And then, of course, Partly's Historic and Hidden Hollow and Fairmont and Blaine is on Blaine. Is it Blaine Avenue, I believe? I've been down in there twice helping with a cleanup project before. But and as I noted in my
Is that
notes,
kind of like 15th 15th East?
yes, it's very near. It's just below Christmas Street. It's just
Hmm.
south, I think, of Christmas
That
Street.
seems like one that might need mulch or something. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of it gets worn. Yeah.
And it is definitely one of the riparian ones. So did I say there's three of them that are natural, like riparian areas, Hidden Hollow and Blaine and um hang on, Parley's Historic Nature Park. They're not like grass and playground parks. But that
There's
doesn't mean. that
Sally, do
was,
you know the park that's right under the 80th East off Highland? So right under the
you know,
freeway, because I know Ben Raskin has been interested in that, and I invited him tonight. I don't see him here yet, but I'm happy to communicate back to him like it's time, and we would be supportive of whatever he did.
yeah,
So
what that one is, isn't it Elizabeth Street Park or
maybe it
something?
is. Yeah. Okay.
But it wasn't named in the list of parks, but you're right.
Okay.
There's that one, and I'm thinking of one more
Yeah.
that's small like that. I'm going to write that one down though to remind
Yeah.
me to ask about it because it is designated. I mean, it has a sign that says park,
It has a
but
sculpture and has benches
I wonder why it's not on the
and
list.
then Sally, I mean, I don't know what we think about the like the Esalen Trail and stuff. Are those eligible?
That's a good point too, that that linear park along the S line. I'm writing that down. Okay,
Not
because
that we have ideas or whatever, but
we should,
I'm gonna,
I would really like to see this group, at least some of us, we don't have to do it as a group together, but go out and tour some of these and take a look and see what they need. I'm going to speak just for a minute. Oh, and we're including Allen Park and Liberty Park because we have good members here coming to our meetings. So
yeah.
thank you, Wida. Um, I did have a conversation with Justin Potter, who is over Fairmont Park, but he's also over this little Imperial Park that's across the street from my house. And many times, I'm going to be honest here, we're recording, I guess I should be careful, but many times I'll leave messages for him and he'll take care of whatever the situation was, usually within just a couple days, but he doesn't call me back. The other morning he called and we had about a 15-minute conversation.
Good.
It's awesome. And just for Imperial Park, I'll let you know they they had a boo-boo last fall, and their fertilizer spreader didn't work properly, and they dumped fertilizer just straight onto the lawn and burned a trail through the lawn before they realized
Oh
that the
no.
flap was open and not, so it wasn't doing the spread thing. It was just pouring out the bottom.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to replace two park strips of grass. And then the center lawn in that park, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it has a big central area with a circular sidewalk that goes around it that the kids ride their bikes and stuff on that sidewalk. But the grass part it's been 10 years now and it's in pretty bad shape. And the center is quite muddy a lot of the time. We have a lot of dogs that come on, a lot of people with their dogs with their people that use the park. And so between the dogs and the kids, it's taken a toll. So they're going to be putting turf in, not just reseeding it. And they know that we have Music Stroll the second weekend in June. And so he's thinking because the weather has been so mild, they might actually be able to do it in March instead of
Nice.
normally they returf in
All
April.
right.
Nice.
So they're going to have to fence off parts of it, which will be discouraging to the neighborhood for a while, but it'll be good to have it up and looking really nice by summer. So I did point out to him we've lost a lot of the bedding plants, and they all have little drip lines to them, which is good. But so now we have all these little indentations where there's just a drip line but no plant. And so he said he was willing to come over and do a plant survey with me and figure out which plants need to be replaced or, filled back in. That was the good news. The bad news is he said we don't have any money for plantings.
Yeah.
So, and plantings don't qualify for a CIP grant. Luckily, the Imperial Neighborhood Park Association has some money in the bank, more than enough to pay for these replacement plants. And so I wanted to see, exactly what plants need to be replaced, what it's going to cost, and then I'll take it to that group and say, do you think it's worth spending the money on? Because we've lost, I would say, at least a third, maybe half of our plants now. 10 years, grasses, those little ornamental grasses die, and some of the daylilies have died. And, it's just parks are hard to keep. They're never going to look like your backyard. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the latest with Imperial Park. Um, our drinking fountain looks pretty bad, and it's got a little dog part to it. And all the owners I see don't dare let their dogs drink out of that because the kids throw gravel and dirt and mud in it. So I want to look at some new fountain designs, and maybe that fountain is something that we could think of. Although I can't imagine a fountain costs 50,000, but
Yeah.
I'm always surprised what stuff
Like,
comes.
you never know to re-put it in and stuff. So
Yeah, and then also we had a pump, a water pump thing. I don't know if any of you were over here when that was going,
Yeah.
but it's really awesome. It was this great idea that we had to let the kids pump the water, not just have water flowing all the time. But kids love to have water to play in, especially in the summertime. But then it could be a chance to kind of teach them a little bit of the history of how everybody used to have to go out and pump water and things like that. Well, they loved it so much, they've loved it to death 3 times.
broken it.
We've
Wow.
worn it out 3 times. And he said they cannot find one that can hold up to that kind of use. And so they've even looked overseas, they've looked everywhere.
Wow.
And so it does still, the pedestal's there, they've taken the pump off. And I'm wondering if maybe that would be a spot for some kind of whimsical artwork instead. And,
Yeah. Or
re
something that will move water. Something that'll move water, but it's not.
Yeah,
Oh,
like a windmill.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like needs this fancy dancing pump thing to it, maybe paddles or something. I don't know. Anything mechanical needs maintenance, though. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Is the sandbox still there?
The sandbox, which is not a sandbox, but it is a sandbox. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
And it's clear
that.
full of toys.
Yeah.
If the sand's brushed aside, you would see there's a runnel that's full of blue stones that are in the
Oh, really?
surface. And it
Oh,
looks almost like a reverse spiral jetty. It curls the opposite way, but it's just like that. And then it rolls down, and the water was to go down. They put in a fancy drain for it and all
oh,
this stuff.
cool.
And it's really cool, but 90% of the time it's covered over with sand, so people don't
Yeah,
know it's there.
yeah.
And
I take
then,
my granddaughter over there. She loved the place.
yeah, yeah. And so, but the kids love it, and parents have thanked me because they said now I didn't have to put a sandbox in my yard. So it's like, oh, okay. And they bring over their toys after the kids have
Mm.
quit playing with them, and the thing is full of toys.
Yeah,
So we'll try to figure out what we're going to do with that stump of a base. But that might be something because
yeah,
that could run some
yes.
money to put something in there. So if you have a chance, take peruse through some of these others that are on the list.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you, I know that the amount of money that was allocated for Allen Park kind of ties your hands in a way for them approving more money or different money.
Mm.
But is it Utah Arts Council looking at any of the art pieces to put money into those?
Not that I've heard, no. There's been no talk about that at all. Um, yeah, I mean the money, I don't know what the money's doing, but Amy, I mean I think that in terms of the art or like the stone walls, she did appropriate some money to take care of the headless deer, a couple of other things before winter because they were not going to make it, is what it looked like. But they didn't cost very much. But generally, she's talked about how that kind of restoration stuff that they really don't have the money. So, um, I mean, I think and it's just so much of it with the stone walls and everything. There's so much that needs to be repaired. Um, that I think that's a good thing to try to get money for.
Yes. I agree too. Is there a way, I know they did a full survey, right? They know exactly how many pieces are there and where they are and because I'm wondering, is it something that we could look at like 3 of the pieces and
Oh yeah, for sure.
ask for funding to repair these 3 that may
Hmm.
be more prominent ones or ones that are toward the
Hmm.
front or whatever your group would decide were the
Hmm.
most important ones. It feels to me almost like the pavilions at Sugar House Park and the bathrooms at Sugar House Park, they just had to chip away at them a little bit at a time
Hmm.
to get funding. They
Hmm.
did all the bathrooms first, but that took at least 3 or 4 or 5 years. And now they've been working on their pavilions just 1 or 2 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's how we should approach the artwork in Allen Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think all of it there has to be a whole conversation with Amy because anytime I bring up anything, it's always like, well, hold on, we have our priorities. And, so it's just sort of like there's a lot of in the works that
Mhm.
she's thinking about, but it's not sort of decided yet. And then,
Mhm.
but it's not like we can just, I mean, we could go just say, we want to do these
Yeah.
and then see what she says. But, yeah.
I like the idea of working together. You
Hmm.
have the channel,
Yeah.
um,
And we're gonna
so
have to, yeah.
and I know just my little bit of CIP experience. Um, we got shade sales in this little Imperial Park with CIP funds because the Imperial Park Association had a big chunk of money to put toward it because we had fundraised to get that park built. We didn't pay for
Mm-hmm.
quite half, but they were very expensive. But it got us right to the top of the list because they said, hey, this neighborhood is contributing this much money. We need
Mm-hmm.
to approve this project. So I do know one thing I learned from that is they really look at the citizen
Mm-hmm.
applications, um, kind of almost prioritize the ones that the citizens of the neighborhood have put in before they start looking at different city organizations that have asked for money. So maybe that would help if the Friends of Allen Park say, we really want to see these three pieces restored.
Mm-hmm.
So
What is the typical due date, like time of year or something when these are
if
due?
you go to SLC CIP, there's a place to look it up, but I did actually print it. I'm not good at screen sharing and doing all that stuff, but the applications are due in uh oh shoot, I can't read this very good. Um, it looks like it's September. Does that sound
Okay.
about right, Sarah? Yeah.
Okay. So
So,
September.
but it takes quite a while to get it organized and get it ready to go to
Right.
submit. And that's why Eric had wanted us to think about it and get started sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, we'd have to price out, who's going to do the work and the costs and everything. Yeah.
Why do they just help you do that? You actually just
Mm.
have the idea and then a staff member is assigned to you to help you.
Oh,
You
okay.
just need to get the idea in. I think that's one thing I really, they try to make it as accessible as they can. Um, so yeah, you can
Okay.
get it with them. So yeah, don't worry about some of the nitty-gritty details of budget. Just have the idea and then, they can help you with the fine print.
Okay.
so
Cool.
is that kind of the pre-submittal part of this?
Yeah. So the citizen part, you just do your idea. You got to fill out a bunch of stuff. You got to demonstrate support of the community, all that, like all those pieces, but you don't have to be an expert at a planning budget, et cetera. And they assign you someone once you submit, and then they help you, and then they present in December. So your job is to work with your planner
Oh,
between September, December. You get the budget, and then they do the ranking, and then all that happens, and then in the spring they approve them. So, yeah. So just have no fear. You'll have help. Yeah.
Well, I would really like to see. I'm so glad Sarah's an expert at this because it was a long time ago that we did the one for our shade sales. But I really like that we have this group that can support each other and look at what project like your little
Sure.
park maybe wants, and then we can help each other.
Well, and then get letters of support, which is
Yep.
important. And the thing we did, so I did one for Fairmont, but also did one for my area. And we spent time going around and getting signatures from neighbors and all that. So those are the kind of things that you do and then demonstrate your work. I also just I'll put up Richard, what's his last name? Our friend Richard.
Layman?
He's really, was it?
Layman? Layman?
Layman is really good at looking at city code and helping you know where your project might align with what the city's master plan is and stuff like that. Maybe Eric could be helpful there some, but that's another place where having a brain trust helps because we can all sort of say, oh wait, what's the Sugar House master plan or the Allen Park art plan, and it aligns with that. And the more things it aligns with, the more they score points and stuff. So
Very good. So I think we're kind of in this preliminary, starting point of reach out.
brainstorm.
Yeah, and let's reach out. And, I know Lynn Olson has been so involved with Hidden Hollow. I'll talk to her about, has she seen anything there that she thinks really needs to be done? And they did just have a big renovation about 2 years ago and changed their lighting and restored their little amphitheater thing.
So
And
Sally, I think it'd be helpful. Can you send out to the email list the link to the new CIP? So we know the
sure.
link, because I think it just reminds people that it's out there. And then number two is any advice on whether or not we should even, like, we don't want to ask for anything at Fairmont because it's getting so much resource. Like, it just
Uh-huh.
seems to do that. But we know there's, going to be needs once the plan is done. So any advice on parks like Allen or Fairmont that are getting resources, like, are they just going to be not, are they going to be overlooked? So don't bother.
Right.
I think
That would be
advice
good
on
to
that would be,
know, so we
yeah,
don't waste our
yeah,
time. Yeah.
yeah. And Wida, we can do things that maybe in the future are used, but like, why spend all the time in the application? Because it's
I agree.
Hmm.
historically, it does take
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well
think
that
getting the word out, Sally, is really good. And I'll tell Ben, and I'll tell Ben to reach out to you if he has a park interest.
okay. That sounds good. And I need to talk to him. He always volunteers for Music Stroll, but I
Yes.
need to ask him if he'd like to be on this email list too, so he gets invited to these, most of them are Zoom meetings. So
Yeah. I don't
and
know.
yeah, I'll check in with him. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have anything about that? All right, then let's do some updates and announcements. Friends of Fairmont?
Yep. So a couple things. If anybody on this call is interested, we have a small group getting together to develop a scavenger hunt for the spring for Fairmont. So March 29th at 4 o'clock at my house, and I'll send you details if you want to help brainstorm ideas for a scavenger hunt. We're developing a fun event that will eventually then need help advertising and getting people to come. We're also going to have an Earth Day event on April 25th. Probably clean up, maybe tree well work, but because the park's due to get construction, we're not going to plant trees or anything this year. But we will do an Earth Day event on the morning of April 25th at Fairmont. And then the third thing I just want to ask Sally, and why did this maybe sounds a little bit like some of the things you're facing, and maybe between you and Eric, Sally, you can be helpful. I just feel like the communication between the city and us around the improvements, it's just there's no flow. And so continuing to see if we can develop, I think this meeting is a really good place for the city to expect that they're coming to update Sugar House people on the park or something. But I feel like communication just gets cut off and then I have to claw to get communication. And so any support, any ways that we can continue to make it easy for them to know, hey, here's people interested,
Mhm.
we should reach out or we should tell Sally that we need update. Just expect that because I feel like I'm always clawing information out of them. And it's not a good use of my time or their time, So I don't know if people have thoughts about that, but I'd love a standing agenda maybe every month or every other month of some sort.
Yeah,
So
just like we do this list of announcements and updates, they should be on that. Kira should be on that.
probably, and she could
Everything.
send you stuff or she could come.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I don't know if you have a structure that's working better or if you think similarly. I don't know. I would welcome any input.
I mean, I think similarly. I mean, I actually was just going, wait, I have to check my email. So I was looking. Amy sent me a message today, but it's like I have to reach out and go, hey, what's going on? And then it might take a while. But there can be stuff going on that it would have been nice to know about, but if I don't initiate it, I don't feel
Mhm.
like I get anything.
In fact, I'm supposed to I have kind of a standing open um, appointment with Kira to come over and look at my park because I call it my park, the little Imperial Park, because some of the things they put in there 10 years ago did not work out. And I'm seeing a few things in the design for Fairmont Park that I'm like, they're doing it again. They can't do this. We've already seen that it doesn't work. And so she said, oh, before we plan the hardscape, it was the hardscape stuff I'm concerned about. We have a lot of that pea gravel. They did a whole area in that pea gravel to keep, so they didn't have to put in a bunch of grass and that was fine. But it's all over the sidewalks all the time. You can't keep it
Mm.
reined in. Now, maybe it needed a better border around the edging so it wouldn't come out, but the Parks Department is constantly cleaning up that gravel that's all over our sidewalks. The other thing is some structures, some bench structures that were really cool looking when they put them in. They look like a starfish. They're made out of some kind of aggregate concrete material. They were brought in from overseas. They were
Hmm.
ordered from overseas. They were lovely, but now they're falling apart. The edges are chipping off.
Uh,
And we're being told they can't be patched or repaired with, just patch, concrete patch or something. So I don't want them choosing stuff that's not going to hold up. And I mean, these are well-loved parks. Thank heavens. I'm glad they are. But they're not museums that nobody's going to, break this stuff. So she's supposed to come over here and spend some time with me, but she said, well, I want to wait until we get into that part of the plan. And so I'll reach out to her again. It's been 2 months since I reached out to her and said she really needs to come over here and look at some of the issues. So
Yeah, and I think
I will.
Sally just came regularly, then we could bring up questions and she could help us, or she could
Yeah.
send us updates. I just think we're a natural place. We all care, and it's a bunch of people who care. So,
And I see if I see long runs of concrete or things like that, that's just a magnet for skateboarders. If you
mm,
don't figure out how you're going to stop that before it starts, you're going to have a problem.
mm,
So things like that I want them thinking about. Just, sometimes I feel like they come in, they design this awesome design, and then we're out of here. We're back to Denver, and it's like, no, you
mm.
aren't living with you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And some of it's really good. Some of it would be awesome, but we just got to make sure before we spend a bunch of money on stuff, in my opinion. So there you go. But because I need to reach out to her about that again, I will also tell her that, we're kind of feeling like nobody's talking to us about what's going on, where we're at in the process again. And why do I feel the same way? Is your water line in?
It is, it's way more complicated water line than I ever thought it would be. Um, I mean, it's pretty amazing, really. It runs almost all the way to the back. The center line, the big stuff seems to be done. There were huge trenches um, and the offshoots coming out, there's spigots, like the red handle spigot ones that we'll be able to put garden hoses on. And then there's these other ones that I'm not familiar with. Maybe you guys are, that it's like, and I remember him saying the ones the city will use, which they're like at surface level on the
Mhm.
ground. There's a green lid like this big,
Mhm.
and you lift that off. And then down there's a thing that maybe they can pop that up and it sprays or something. Anyway, there's a bunch of those around.
Hmm.
There, and then there's the big red fire hydrants. They all seem to be in. So there's still those offshoots for all those pieces. They're not done with that yet. And the road is so ripped up and so muddy. And I can tell you, walking on it when it's wet is a nightmare,
Mhm.
um, of how much clay and sticky. I mean, once it's on your feet, you're like your feet are this big, full of mud. So they have to do something way more
Mhm.
dramatic than I think Amy planned on,
Yeah.
before it's walkable. Um, I
Some
mean,
of the
you can walk on it now. There's still some asphalt left, but what there is so ripped up from all that huge equipment running back and forth and back and forth. So anyway,
some of those flat things that are down in the ground, there are some of those over in Imperial Park, and the kids, the teenagers, God bless their picking hearts, figured out how to take those lids off and somehow mess with the sprinkler system so it would not run so they could be out there at 11 o'clock or midnight without the sprinklers coming on. And we didn't figure out
oh,
that was going on until the grass started to die. And it's like,
oh,
what is going on? That was the first year. So then the Parks Department came out and they said, well, who's been getting, wait a minute. Oh. So they had to put some kind of permanent screws that only they had the tool to be able to open them up to
okay.
stop them from just using, Dad's Phillips screwdriver to open them up and mess with.
That's good to know. Okay.
So
Yeah,
it
these
could,
don't even have a Phillips screwdriver. You just lift it up right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you'll have that kind of problem because your night security is different than ours is being just a big open park.
Yeah.
The other place I've seen those is over in Hidden Hollow between the Draw and Sugar House Park and Hidden Hollow. And we, again, couldn't figure out why we don't have any water. Well, those were turned off. They have to be turned on every spring by
Oh,
the Parks Department that runs the line that runs from Sugar House Park into Hidden Hollow. I was like,
okay.
oh. So that wasn't kids. That was just nobody
Yeah.
taking responsibility for the fact that this one needs to be opened every spring. So, and I guess they drain the system, maybe that's why it gets closed. Makes
Yeah, except yeah, we still need water for the peacocks, but
yeah.
anyway.
How are they
Um
doing?
the two with it we still run around, they're fine. That hasn't changed. And then
Yeah,
the other one is
General,
still up at Patrick's house.
yeah, and I thought he was going to get moved to
And
a,
not yet. Not that I don't think so. He's still in
okay.
his garage.
No,
Yeah, I know.
it's been a long recovery. Get the moral of the story is don't get hit by a car.
Don't get hit by a car.
So,
Um, I can read you Amy's email that
sure.
has the updates in it that I was, so it's not that long, but thanks for checking in. The water line work should be complete at the end of April. We hit a delay with the public utilities, but are still on track with reopening in beginning of May. Public Lands is planning a public engagement event. She had told me about this, tentative date May 2nd, to welcome people back into the park and share the concept plan for phase one, which refined the ARMP concept plan in preparation for construction documentation. Will also be ready to share the project's overall construction schedule at that time. And then she had mentioned this to me before, that Friends of Allen Park would have a table and we could visit with people. And then what we know we'll do with that table is that we, as they were digging up these big, huge trenches, um, it's like that apparently Dr. Allen went to the dump or whatever to fill in because it was more of a gully than it is now. And there are a million bottles, glass bottles, dark blue ones, green ones, did like so many. And so and the guys were saving them for us and we're collecting them. And now we have bushels of bottles. So we'll have a table full of bottles just for fun. But
That same thing happened, if I can talk about something else, when they put the draw in at Sugar House, when they started digging and trenching that, and by the way, that dirt was then used to make the berm that the Parley's Trail runs on the south side of the park. You know how the bike trail comes along? That was dirt from that tunnel. But when
huh.
they started digging in that, let me think how this works. There was a rail line that ran through Sugar House
Oh,
Park that took ice down to that Hygeia ice thing on that was a little further into Sugar House. This was
huh.
way, 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 way back. And so then when they decided to build 13th East to come south, it used to end right there. They had to do some excavation and stuff. Well, they had a hole. That's what it was. It was a big hole because the railroad had gone through there. So they invited the city people, anybody, to bring stuff to throw in this
Oh
hole.
my God.
And they found a lot of bottles and other stuff I guess had broken down by then. But yeah, they just would almost use it like a city dump till we have enough stuff in here to throw some dirt on it and
Uh-huh.
build the road. And so that's not unheard of.
That's so hilarious. I love it.
Good old days. The good
We
old days.
Yeah, we have a historian that's on the Sugar House Community Council that did a talk about Fairmont Park and gave
Adrian,
yeah,
Adrian White.
Adrian. Have you told, does she know about this? These bottles that they have found and
Oh, we
hided?
haven't shared that with anybody. No.
Sarah, don't you think she'd be a good one to investigate why they're in there
Maybe. Sure.
and And
Yeah.
some of those might actually have some value. And the guy who runs the coin shop in Sugar House, if
Hmm.
driven by All About Coins, he has old bottles all along
Oh,
the
huh.
window. And I'm sure he has researched them and he knows he would know if any of those, like I said, actually had some value.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why
maybe,
I have a question. Did any of the bottles were any of the bottles still sealed?
No, there was one that there's little teeny blue one, dark blue ones that were
Uh,
some kind of medicine, and one of them still had the little squeeze stopper in it.
oh, cool.
But
That's
other
cool.
than that, no, everything lid was off. Yeah,
Dang.
and empty.
Alta, they're doing some digging up at Alta there, and they come across all these old bottles up there. You know, there was a town there, and
Huh.
they found one of the bottles. It was like a some sort of a cider. It was a beer cider,
Mm,
Yeah.
still corked,
still.
and, and they were
Great.
able to check it out and see what it tasted like. They had the guy from it was a High West Distillery.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
came checked it out. Did you hear about all that, Sally?
Yes.
Yeah, that
And
was really
so they
yeah,
opened it and he tasted, yeah, it's somewhere between a cider and a brandy, he
yeah,
said.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so now
wow.
they're trying to figure out what it was made of and,
right.
Huh.
It was up at the new museum up behind the Capitol. It was really cool. Yeah,
oh, that's right.
they did. They had one night there where they laid things out. It was really cool. And obviously they'll have a lot more to put in there once they get everything. They get all the shelving up and stuff. But if you haven't been to the museum, it's really cool.
So if any of these bottles or all of them should be maybe looked at by somebody because that museum might
Yeah,
want some of them.
cool.
Well,
I,
we're going to have a museum room for sure in the big house
Oh,
someday.
cool.
Oh,
So,
well,
cool.
so Wida,
yeah.
it's SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office, that has done that work. So that like I have an email for somebody from SHPO. I can send it to you.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
many
that would be good.
how many bottles are we talking? Like a dozen or
Oh, no more than
50?
that. Several dozen.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially right up by the road when they really dug down because there's one of those great big culvert box things,
Mm.
cement things down there. It was just like, oh my God, there were
I
just
saw
like
the hole. I
layers of them.
didn't see the balls, but I saw the big hole they had there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was also farther up, there's chunks of stone that are obviously cut. They're rough, but they're rectangle, kind of square,
Mhm.
like they were part of some structure. And
Right.
so they're some of them are heavy, but I've been chucking them over the fence to keep them from ending up back in the ditches because we could use them for, when we do reconstruction of
Yes.
stone
Right.
walls and stuff.
Cool.
Yes.
I was
Are they
saving us money.
reddish? Are they
What's that?
reddish? Are they reddish?
No, they're not red. They're more of a
Oh,
light gray.
hmm.
Yeah.
Because also when they took down the prison, a
Oh.
lot of the prison masonry was thrown into pits
Mhm.
like that.
Mm.
But I don't know what
He
color it
worked at the
was.
prison though. Yeah.
He did work at the prison?
Yeah, he was a
Well,
surgeon there. Yeah.
that's
Cool.
possibly what that stuff is, that it came from the prison walls and the prison buildings.
I know the Boys and Girls Club is made of prison bricks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I should go look at the bricks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys and girls place.
And there's a wall along by the but by the big house that apparently those were downtown cobblestone.
Oh,
So when they were ripping that up to put in a different road base, some of that ended up,
fascinating. Fascinating.
Wow.
Wida, I put Chris Merritt's email in the chat.
Okay. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Wow. I just love that stuff, that historic stuff. That's really cool. Okay,
Oh,
I
I have
don't
one more. I'll just say
oh,
one more
okay.
thing that she added that I didn't know, that Public Lands is partnering with Tracy Aviary to conduct bird surveys in Allen Park. At the end of April, Allen Park will be added to their list of city parks to monitor bird activity on an ongoing basis. We are also hiring them to consult with Public Lands on Phase 1 bird habitat. They have some really great ideas. We're excited for the collaboration. So that sounds awesome.
That's very cool. Because people routinely ask, are they going to put birds back in there or what's going on with birds? And I tell them, well,
Yeah.
it's a natural area, so hopefully we'll start getting some hawks and different things like that. But I don't
Yeah.
know about actually putting in the kinds of birds that he kept. But
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see what their advice is. We do
yeah.
have a lot of Cooper socks here. So,
Okay. All right, Eric isn't here to give us a report on the peanut board. And then I have just one thing for the Pratt board. As you guys know, the S line is going to now be extended from its terminus in Fairmont, across from Fairmont Park, across on up to Highland Drive. It's only what, a block and a half or 2 blocks along, is it McClellan there? But when they start that construction, which is soon, they're going to keep McClellan open to pedestrians, but they will close. It's not McClellan. Is it Sugarmont? Sarah, I can't remember what goes straight on up. Anyway, they'll keep it open to pedestrians, but they're going to close it to vehicle traffic.
I
And
don't know.
I should know. I can't think right now. McClellan runs north and south,
I think it's probably
and
Sugarmont.
I
It's
think
probably
it's Sugarmont.
Sugarmont.
That and so I reached out to Bill Knowles to make sure, because they're starting to talk about some of these plans, and to make sure that the Parley's Trail is included in that, because the trail comes right up to where the end of the S line is also. And then so they will, he said they absolutely are going to include Parley's Trail in that next 2 blocks
Oh,
of construction. And then eventually, it all is funding, of course. It's going to go across and into the Sugar House Commons area. Do you know where that Radio Shack is in the Sugar House Commons?
yeah.
That's where the station's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that could take a while. And then the D's own that property, and they have still been in favor of including Parley's Trail, and possibly allowing Parley's Trail to somehow wind through that parcel and come out over by Hidden Hollow, where it comes out of Hidden Hollow.
Hmm.
So that would really form a nice connection.
Oh, what?
In the meantime, one of the discussions had been that, well, maybe it should circle around the back of that ZCMI bank. ZCMI is going to get completely rebuilt in the next year or two, and they're going to keep a bank on the bottom story and apartments, of course, on top.
Hmm.
But they probably will not be including any kind of Parley's Trail, because the S line will have it along the S line trail. So we don't think they'll be putting in an extra, like a little extra trail with the Zion Bank. And then just hold on to your hats, because the DI is coming down also soon.
Oh, the
So
DI that is the DI right now?
yeah, well, it hasn't been the DI for a long
Oh,
time.
Yeah,
okay, that one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
the one on Highland Drive.
okay.
So they're going to be tearing it down at the same time they're doing the extension of the S line.
Hmm.
So it could be pretty exciting in that area. And the apartment complex that's next to the Fairmont Park, that has taken forever and ever and ever, they are now saying it is going to be done the end of May. And Bill
Mm.
Knowles said, I would not count on it. He said it's the longest project he has ever seen. It has
Hmm.
taken over 2 years to get that thing done.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
think they changed contractors. They went through issues with supplies. It's just been a nightmare. So, but now they're saying the end of May. So, is that right, Jerry? Do I have those things about right?
I haven't heard. I could ask Yvonne. Maybe
Yeah.
she knows a little more about that.
Oh, I was thinking you were at Sugar House Community Council last week.
I was,
Oh,
but I was an hour late.
and you weren't. Oh, if you were an hour late, you missed Bill Knowles.
Yeah,
So,
hour.
okay.
But now tell me again, what exactly was you were wondering when they're going to tear down the old DI and when that was going to start, or
Hang on just a second. I have it written down.
you know any? No, I don't. Yeah, but it's real soon. I remember here pretty soon. So we'll see what's
The,
happening.
the DI demolition starts at the 1st of May. The
Okay.
streetcar starts mid-June. It's
boy.
the Zion Bank project is mid to late summer, and they want 10-story residential. The Wells Fargo building, they're back for the third time,
Hmm.
working on a third plan to get that one approved. So that one, he said, won't happen probably until 2027.
Right.
So
Good.
Something
yeah,
about-
and the one that butts up to Fairmont Park is supposed to be done the end of May.
So in May, they're thinking they'll be ripping it out. Okay, that's soon.
It'd be nice to have the one by Fairmont Park done before they start tearing out the DI.
Right.
It's just
Well,
like,
and Sally, they're building the elder building too. So
right?
never going to be done.
Yeah, no.
No.
And that one's on Fairmont Park, yeah, side also. So people are excited about that. because of the age thing. They're like, oh, cool, finally something for us. So, all right. Okay, I'm trying to think if there was any other construction news because it's just never ending.
Oh, Matt got the summary. It's probably all in there. Thanks.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Matt'll have it.
Yep. Yeah, it was what you just said, May 1st, and there's a couple other details in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
16 townhomes going in on 8th East and 2000 South. So
Hmm.
that's kind
Ooh.
of a little bit out of Sugar House,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad I moved.
There you
I
go.
lived right there. I wonder what they're doing.
All
Huh.
right. Okay, does anybody have anything else?
One last thing. Yvonne was just telling me that the Sugar House Hotel
City Council,
City Council
March 24th.
Oh,
24th.
You can talk for a minute about whether you like it or not.
You could
Yeah.
talk a minute or two. I think she's not sure if it's a minute or 2 minutes, and
2 minutes.
likes or dislikes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. That's the Sizzler property. And the Sarah Young, our city council person, wanted to reiterate there is not an option for the city to make that part of the park. That isn't an option. It's privately owned.
Right.
She is negotiating her own things, but
Mm.
they do have some control over how tall it is and things like that.
Oh,
So
that's good.
Right. The more the merrier.
yeah, and she committed that they will stay there until they've heard from every single person. They haven't limited the amount of public comment. Everybody only gets 2 minutes, but she said it could go on for quite a long time. If you don't want to go, you can watch it on their
YouTube, is it?
yeah, it's a
Zoom.
is it
Zoom. You register for Zoom, but you have to do it ahead of time in order to speak.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you know, does anybody know what's going on with the Snell Grove property? Do you know?
It's on pause. The bill did not know anything.
Huh.
That's right. Because everything changed
And
when
it's gone dark. It's gone dark.
yep. Everything changed when all the tariffs started, and so then the supply was difficult to get. And they were using it for a staging area for a long time. That actually
Right.
worked out convenient for the 21st reconstruction because they could stage everything on that huge piece of property.
It
But
worked.
now,
Yeah.
it's like Sarah said, it's gone dark. We don't know what's going on. Martin, as we drove by today, my husband said, "Oh, but at least the ice cream cones are still there."
Yeah, thank goodness.
We got nothing but ice cream cones. So
Hey, did everybody hear Tom Millar is left Salt Lake City
no.
Parks?
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
I don't know. It's in the news. It was news about 2 weeks ago. He actually put it on his LinkedIn. I think it had some judging by the little bit that I read, if you read in between the lines, it sounded like there was some sort of restructuring. But I don't know if it was quite voluntary.
Gosh.
Yeah, but if you Google it, it's actually some news. It says something like, I think Building Salt Lake or something talked about Salt Lake City Parks and quietly reorganizes or something like that. It was actually a news article. Salt Lake City quietly replaces its heads of parks and housing stability. And he was mentioned there. So and if anybody knew, was leading the planning department.
Yeah, he's lovely.
He was lovely. Yeah, I loved him. I was on the peanut board before, and I enjoyed working him. So he's no longer there. And Toby, you guys maybe all know this as well. Toby's gone as well.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that until recently. So it's Nate somebody is taking over both roles right now, right?
Yeah. If you Google it, it'll say, like, I think, I don't know if Nate's taking over both roles, but it did say Tony Gillett, the head's
Tony Gillett's going to do it. That's who it is.
He's interim director. But there was a shakeup. So Toby Hasselbecker, he was division head for parks.
Damn
He's gone.
Oh.
And
What?
he wasn't even there.
He wasn't there that long, yeah. So he's gone. You can Google all this. It's all and find as much as information. But it sounded like they had a quiet restructuring going on, and I don't know what happened.
People were quietly quitting.
Or getting
Quietly
removed,
I don't know, reduction of force or something. I don't
Probably
know.
we should put Eric on to update us on this. I think it would be a good update from Eric, maybe.
Yeah, that would. Eric should
It
have
feels
some
like
insight.
I have no idea who to email, and it's been a little.
Yeah.
So,
But Tom
Eric,
Millar, Google it.
yeah, okay. Yeah, and Eric is on this list. He's always invited, so to give us a peanut board report. So, but I'll tell him that we want an update on that kind of stuff. A
That may be why things are moving slowly because
yeah.
upper management's kicked out and new interim management's being thrown in. Maybe they don't know what to do. I don't know.
Okay. Um, Good note, though, Lynn Jacobs has been promoted to the head of transportation, and he is awesome to work with,
Yeah.
and was coming to all of our Pratt board meetings, and just really, he's the one that designed the Highland Drive design with all the bike lanes and all of those things, and he's now going to be the head of transportation. So we're excited about that. And Bill Knowles was very excited because he said he's so good to work with, and he just has really good ideas and is really listens to people. And I've been to a couple of his community meetings when they were explaining a certain project that was going on, and he just works really well with the public. So that's good news. Lynn Jacobs is the head of transportation now. So, all right. Does anybody have anything else?
thank you. Thanks, Ellie.
I think we're good. Everybody good?
Yep. Thanks,
Thank you.
Alex.
Toodaloo. Thanks for coming.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.